Welcome to the Rocket Launcher Podcast, episode 155. I had to think about it for a second, even though I wrote it down. I am your host, Supreme King. Join with me, as always, is my co-host, and his name is...
It's your guy Amazes.
First of all, people, I wanted to apologize for the late delay. My co-host, his mic was all messed up. We had to try to figure
wasn't
out...
my end. It was your end. Ha ha ha.
He was trying to figure it out.
You were trying to figure it out. Your settings were messed up. Everything was fine on my end. Don't be lying.
We back. My co-host apologizes.
Oh, okay.
For the delay, but we back like never before. Here to talk about a few gaming shows that happened earlier in the week, I believe, which is far old news at this point because the hot topic is back on Microsoft and Xbox. I'm pretty sure pretty sure everybody has seen everyone's opinion so far on this, everybody who jumped on it. I came very, very close to busting out all the lights and everything and just doing the other video. And the only reason I didn't is just because I was still a little pressed for time and I kind of just wanted to game and relax a little bit. But I do think I'm about to order a whole nother light, Elgato light, and really bounce back, because some of this stuff, when stuff like this happen, like the main topic of everybody's topic on everybody's channel right now, which is Xbox's Game Pass's price hike. I'm pretty sure y'all want immediate reactions to some of this stuff, and so I'm gonna hop back into it because it don't take too long for me to make videos anyway. And I know I have been promising I'm gonna do it, but long story short, Xbox raised the price of Game Pass on every tier and introduced, I think, maybe one new tier, because there was something in here I haven't seen before. And then they're trying to introduce one new tier that's going to be in development, which is a hilarious tier. But the main tier, which is the thing that sells it all, is Ultimate, which is or was $20 a month, and that all of a sudden gets increased by 50%, and now it's considered $30 a month going forward. That particular tier is supposed to have like 500 games in it, and then day one releases, and EA and some Ubisoft content as well. And then like one of the things they was mentioning is like new, I think, was like some Fortnite perks and stuff like that, stuff nobody really asked for. And I mean, they just did it. They just kind of just came out of nowhere and were just like, here it is. Nobody is on board with this from what I am seeing. Funny enough, shout out to Hollow Knight Silksong, the game Hollow Knight Silksong, which I think is in Game Pass as well. That was a game that I bought, even though it was in Game Pass. And if I'm not mistaken, we kind of showcased it here maybe a week or two ago. I remember Steam was crashed by the player base because they were trying to buy the game. Too many people was trying to buy the game at the same time, to the point where on the day of release, hardly anybody can get through to actually buy it until the afternoon. And I was one of the people who also couldn't get through to buy it until the afternoon, and then it was available. That's a good kind of crash in a way. At least, just the optics of it and everything. But with this Game Pass price hike, apparently Xbox's website also experienced a crash. And it was in a different way. It was a crash because everybody was attempting to cancel Game Pass at the same time. And you got to really think about like how many people it would take to do that, because from my understanding, when Silksong crashed, it was like, thousands, it had to have been like hundreds of thousands of people at one time trying to buy that game, which I believe with Ultimate, it would have to been the same thing if we're talking about the bandwidths and stuff. 100,000 plus, maybe more.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to crash this thing or trying to cancel this thing at the same time. Honestly, Xbox, they got to blame themselves. Microsoft got to blame themselves on this. But I'm gonna let you talk for a second. I'll talk for a few minutes. I'm gonna come back with a couple more things. But go ahead.
One of my issues is I've seen a few people online talk about how they don't mind the price hike because they feel like the $30, like what they get for the $30 is fair. Whether you agree with that or not, my issue is that it wasn't like they were like, hey, we're increasing the prices and giving you more stuff, or we're increasing the prices to pay for whoever, or things like that. It was just, oh, we're just gonna increase the price. Like it felt like it was for no reason, right? Out of nowhere, just for them to get more money, and that's my issue. Whether like maybe if it was ever first announced and it was 30 and everybody's like, yeah, that's fair, is the fact that they went up for zero reason that I have a big issue with. Where there's no reason they needed to go up in price. Everything was just fine, and then they're just like, yeah, we want more money, right? And that's to me a problem. And it kind of sucks for like it sucks a lot for the consumer. And just kind of like you're trying to enjoy the Game Pass and everything, and then out of nowhere it's like pay us more. And this is happening with streaming services as well, and everyone's just out of nowhere just going, actually it's going to cost more. And when people like whether you again if you agree with the 30 or not, if you're just like, yeah, I'll just go up in the price, it's fine, whatever, I can pay it because I like it, you're kind of part of the problem, right? Like you can skip it for a month, and seeing that everyone canceled and everyone stops will get them to bring the price down. And we've said this before for things, just because you can afford it doesn't mean you have to afford it. Like, so I feel like if everyone justifiably just, hey, like with the website crashing, to me that's a good sign that a lot of people are fighting back on this price hike, and we just need more to do it for them to realize this was just not a good thing to do.
Real quick, let me go through these tiers real quick. So apparently, there's a premium tier, which I think this is the one that they introduced, because I didn't remember. Premium and essential don't sound like Xbox tiers. These that quite literally sound like PlayStation tiers.
They are.
Premium is supposed to be $14.99, where they promise 200 plus games and then select games within a year. As crazy as that sounds. And then Essential is supposed to be $9.99. It's going to be like 50 games in there, and then you get just the online feature. And then the PC only one, which is $16.99, I believe, or $16.49. So it's basically $16.50 before tax, which has hundreds of PC games plus day one games. So going forward, day one releases will still be on the PC side and the Ultimate side. The PC one is probably the most attractive to me overall, but at the same time, they kind of just left a bad taste in my mouth. And I know I'm about to rant for a second, but I also want to say the news of them developing, because I think we actually spoke on this a year or two ago, but it's actually going to happen. They want to develop a free streaming with cloud service where it's free, but you have to watch ads in the game, basically. And that's supposed to be developed. And originally, like with Ultimate, you got EA Play, but now I think the Ubisoft is a part of that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if it was in there before because I didn't really go to that. I always really went to the day one releases. But I do know the Fortnite thing, that's like a bigger perk thing. And it's just like Fortnite people will play Fortnite. They're going to do that. They're going to buy their skins, whatever. Like imposing that on Ultimate is just kind of like egregious to me. Like that's something that I don't care about that at all. Like and what's crazy about it is it's one of the things that's stacked right next to everything else. Like you got day one releases and Fortnite perks, as if Fortnite perks is on the same level of day one releases. And it's like that's your $30 thing, and then in Ubisoft is like quite literally every Assassin's Creed from the past that you could probably grab at like GameStop for like $10 or something. It's like I don't want all of that for 30 a month. Like 30 a month. What made it annoying for me is that I buy games all the time, especially during Black Friday. They did this during like the month before Black Friday's like big thing. Whereas like on Black Friday is when you scoop a bunch of games for $20 to $30. It's like, why would I go in there and get it when I could just go buy them? You know what I'm saying? Black Friday is usually when I buy them in bulk. You know what I mean? And it kind of annoyed me because I was just starting to enjoy the headset. Now, don't get me wrong, like the headset is supposed to be a VR machine, and I am going to treat it as a VR machine going forward. Ironically, I was already going to start doing that during Black Friday time anyway, because I was like, VR games are not really expensive anyway, so if I grab some during Black Friday, I could probably get everything on pennies for $1, basically. But I was primarily using it with Game Pass before. So when I saw that, I was just like, all right, every long game that's in here, I'm just going to go ahead and uninstall now. I'm not even going to attempt to try to play it real quick, because I already had my games that I wanted to play. So I went into the system. I uninstalled like Avowed. I uninstalled Oblivion. I uninstalled what else? There's another game that I know, Metaphor Refantasio, because it was like these are games that are like you play for a longer time, and I don't want to play them in a system like that where I'm pressed for time. I'm paying $30 a month for it when I literally just saw like Metaphor on sale at one point for like 35. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, I would just buy that. That was considered one of the games of the year. You know what I'm saying? Oblivion is considered a classic to so many people, and I've seen that one go on sale for kind of low like that. And at this point,
let's talk about it. Oblivion also came out at 50, right? So it's like
yeah,
2 months of Game Pass, and not even a full 2 months of Game Pass, and you get to own the game completely forever.
I was just and I'm just like it left a bad taste in my mouth overall, because this isn't the first time that they did this and I was upset about it, because I think one of the first times I was telling people, go get the system while it was cheap, because it was like a Black Friday while it was cheap. And then I think in January or whatever year that was, there was like, oh, we're got to do some sort of business update, and like 4 or 5 games is going to go over to like PlayStation. And then right after that, I think somewhere around that time frame, the price went up from $15 to like $16.99 or $17 or something like that, the initial one. And I was just like, why would you do that? Like, it's like, if anything, because when you think about it, it makes you look like you dumb if you bought the system right in the holiday season, and then right after that they say like, well, you basically, if you already had it, you didn't need to buy this particular system, because we was going to start drip feeding games over here. And the drip feeding thing is kind of annoying in itself too, because it's like, I don't like this idea of them controlling or attempting to control how you game. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to drip feed titles, and I don't want to sit here and really have to deal with a time limit anymore. It was cool at $15, or like $20 was kind of my limit, and I didn't really care too much at 20, because let's face it, I spend way more money on food throughout the week of places I don't even need to go out to eat to, for that type of money. And I kind of felt like, they're really just increasing it for the sake of increasing it. They don't have a real excuse for it. They just kind of just said, hey, we're updating it, and it's going to have all this extra stuff. And all the extra stuff is really useless, because the only thing that really was pushing a service, period, is day one releases. There's no real reason to go through all of that. because like no matter what, if there was a particular game that you wanted, quite literally you can just go buy it. You know what I mean? But if you're gonna put the price right there, like these guys got to really understand, like people don't buy games at $70. Like they just don't. They only buy, if they do that, it's the best of the best. They don't just go through every title and buy it at 70. They're all following these people like Warrior 64 on Twitter, who posts sales 24/7. Everybody's some of these guys got like 1,000,000+ people following them, right? And it's like the only reason they're following them is because they're looking for a deal. Like nobody's actually gonna sit there and run through each game at $70 and then look at this and say, oh, that's a better deal at 30. It's like, bro, this is almost half. It's like you're basically at half, because once you go in the checkout and you do the, you know, the tax and everything, it's like you're maybe $1 or $2 away from it being half. It's like at that point I would just buy it. Like it really don't make no sense for me to do it. And it kind of annoys me because the other time I remember when they raised the price to 20 initially, they announced right before it that they partnered with Amazon. You remember me talking about that? They partnered with Amazon or something so they could have Xbox app on the Amazon app or something like that. Where, oh no, it was the Amazon's the little TV box, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, and it was like the app will be right on there. It's like, okay, like everybody could access this from off of that box. It's open to a bunch of people, and then as soon as they did that, it was just like, okay, we raised the price to 20. It's like you just announced it to all these people and then raised the price on them right then and there. And then they kind of did it again right now because the Rogue Ally is the Rogue Ally, but that thing is supposed to, the Xbox's version is supposed to come out October 16th. They're trying to promote it right now. It is overpriced at $1,000, but then for the people who was going to roll into it and be into the ecosystem who probably wasn't, you just raise the price of the ecosystem before they can even get it. It's like, who is over there making this decision? That is so dumb. You're not making real business decisions that make sense to me. It's not. Like, why would you do that? So if, because $1,000 is a lot to buy a handheld, but you've literally just killed that experience before it even came out, because now people are gonna look at it twice, and that's just enough to make people say, I don't know if I want this. You know what I mean? And it's like, how do y'all not get this right? This was the easiest generation for Xbox to win. The easiest generation for them to win from 2020 to now, and they messed it up each time because they couldn't get their message correct at the very beginning. So everybody sat there for 2 years and was like, is they gonna give their games away or not? We had to do that for like 2 years. They didn't want to tell you that they was gonna do it or not. They just sat there and said, we don't know, but Call of Duty maybe. And then Call of Duty was all the way through the court system, and all these other people who probably should be worried about like world hunger or something is worried about Call of Duty. We had to deal with that, and then next thing you know, they was raising the price on stuff that they was trying to tell you was a good deal in the beginning. What Xbox's Game Pass is right now should have been what it was at $15. It was like they promised day and date games and couldn't come out with the games right away. They had came out with like Forza and Halo, I believe, that one year, and barely could come out with anything else. And then Redfall really tanked their reputation for a second. And then they had like a couple smaller games that didn't nobody care about. And then the rest of them was all like third party. And it was like they were still promising it. And then once we finally got to the point where right now, where it's like, here's a game almost every month or something. Now you want to basically double it. Since then, it's like, well, it was a great deal at $15. At $30, I might as well buy it. That like that's the part that just kind of like annoyed me a little bit about it. I can afford it. Obviously, it's not really that big of a deal. I'm just kind of, it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. It reminds me of the issue I had with GameStop where they couldn't honor the last $5 deal that I paid for. That whole story. It's just like the principle of it is it. This is the one company that it makes no sense for them to move like they're desperate. That's the thing. They're moving like they're desperate. They're throwing so much stuff out there trying to see what sticks. And they really didn't have to do that. They should have kept to their brand and said, "This is Xbox. Our console is an Xbox, not 50 other things," and just put out their games. They had a bunch of titles, and nobody even believes in playing in the games on their system anymore, which I didn't even understand. I was like, well, you undercut Game Pass to begin with by putting it everywhere else, and then the people who was already supporting it, you just decide to double the price on them. That makes no sense to me. It never made no sense to me, and I was just like, well, I guess that's it there. I still have a bunch of codes that I have in a folder where I can just put it in at any moment, because I stacked it up like when it was like dirt cheap. But you know what was really stupid about it? Like right now, mine's is set to expire, I think, on the 23rd. And I had every intention on turning it back on with my actual money at $20 a month and not even worrying about it. Even though I was like, here's some games that I'm going to play that are all horror based or whatever for this month, and then other stuff other months. I was like, I'm going to still jump in there, play a bunch of arcade stuff. I wasn't even going to think about it. It was going to be out of sight, out of mind. Literally. And then they did that, and I was just like, all right, that's just dumb. Like, I don't even feel like, so I, like everything that was an actual game I uninstalled, I still have like Forza 5, Forza Motorsport, and then Flight Sim 1 and 2, or Flight Sim and Flight Sim 2024 installed, because I don't consider those like play to the end type games. South of Midnight is on the screen. I actually finished that. Funny enough, I wasn't even like finished until they did that, and I was like, you know what, I might as well sit down and like quite literally just finish this, and I did. And so I still have all the footage. I finished that, and then Doom the Dark Ages is the other game that I haven't finished yet, but I can pretty much get it done before this expires. And that's another game that I saw Steam showed it off on sale for like 40 something dollars not too long ago, and when I looked at it, I was just like, if I throw one of my gift cards on it, it's pennies on the dollar. And since the Switch 2 had came out, I bought like 5 or 6 or whatever there, however many titles. I bought a whole bunch of those red cases basically that are all on pre-order for games I don't even care to play right now, like the new Tennis, the new Kirby, the new Pokemon, and I know it's a couple more I can't even think of right now. And I just thought about, like, I might as well just treat Game Pass, these titles, the same way. Like, the second they come out, I'll just finesse the system and with a gift card and with my credit card and pay like $20 for one of them games too and just own it. Like, that's like, I don't make no sense for me to actually sit there and go through that. And then I got to sit here and, worry about a time limit and all this other stuff. And it's like, for what? Like, the Xbox Play Anywhere campaign, when you really have all the pieces of the ecosystem, a handheld headset, a PC, the actual system, it really is a phenomenal thing. It is really great. It's just the problem with it now is that they're trying to squeeze every dollar out of the consumer. That is just such a turnoff, and it just makes you not even want to do it. And so, like, for me, I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna just pull back on this. And whenever they have something that's like really, really something I might want to play, then I'll throw one of the codes on there and play like 2 or 3 games in their ecosystem until I finish it for the month and then turn it right back off. And I think a lot of people do that anyway, because if you have Ultimate, according to, just simple math, it's basically $360 a year. And people was making a joke on Xbox 360 is back, because they want to charge you the $360, but quite literally, even though that's the case, people don't stay in there for a full year like that unless they're really like bought into the system. And for me, I honestly wasn't that bought in yet. I was just starting to be bought in because I had everything. But honestly, It was still being a little overwhelming because it was just so much games, and I only have so much time. And it's like I still want to play the stuff I own, the stuff from the past, the stuff in emulation, and it's like, how much can you play at one time? You know what I mean? And when it
Right.
really comes down to it, with a backlog and everything, you can only focus on one game at a time if you really want to complete it. And when they did that, that made me honestly sit down and finish South of Midnight in like a day. Like I just really just sat down. I was like, I'm about to just finish this now. Before I was just kind of like, oh, I'll play it a little bit here, a little bit there, and I was just like, no, finish it. And I finished it, captured all the footage, and was done. Um, and it's a shame that they can't get their messaging right. They can't. I don't understand it, honestly. I really don't. But um, when it comes to the Xbox brand, it would have took a generation and a half to rebuild it. The first generation would have been them rebuilding their name, and then the second generation is them firing on all cylinders. Now we're 2/3 into the first generation, and they're just floundering little by little because they couldn't stick to a plan. They couldn't stick to one plan, and they keep doing all these other things, and there's too many people in there attempting to basically get as much money as they can right now. These type of things take time. We've talked about it plenty of times where we use the example Persona 5. It's like it took them getting to Persona 5 to really, get the audience behind that particular brand. It's like
Mhm.
something like this, it don't matter how much money you poured into it. That's not going to make people just all of a sudden want to pay you all that money. If they really wanted to, like Call of Duty, people is going to buy Call of Duty. They're just going to buy it. With EA, Madden, people were just going to go buy it. You know what I'm saying? Assassin's Creed for Ubisoft, people would just simply buy it. Fortnite people, at this point, they've already, been in Fortnite.
Mhm.
None of that would have mattered. It really just came down to the day one releases, and it's just like, if you're going to say $30 for a day one release, I will just go buy the game.
Mhm.
Hollow Knight came out at $20, right? It was like, you either play this day one in Game Pass or just buy it. That was something where, for a lot of people, they probably played it in Game Pass, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people was not sold on it being in Game Pass because it was $20. You could just buy that. For everybody else, it's like you would play it in Game Pass if you was already playing something else. But nobody's gonna be drawn to a game like that at that price into a service. They would just simply go buy that game. And I think a lot of people, like, this is just common sense at this point. If you're talking a $30 price tag, it's like you could just do the math on it. Like, a gamer is not dumb and they're not that desperate. Clearly, if they're gonna crash the site, it's like, just go buy the thing. And that's how I feel about it. Like, they have some great titles. South of Midnight was decent. Um, Doom: The Dark Ages is fun. We're gonna get to that in a second. But if this is the type of game that they're playing, we're talking like 3 months in is $90. 3 months in, $90. Buy it. What? Buy it. Take your time and 100% the thing. Like, it don't make sense because you're not gonna play through all those games at one time. Just like what I said, like I had to uninstall so many of them, but I wasn't able to get that far in a lot of them because you can only focus on one at a time. And if you're an adult who can really afford that, your time is limited. Like, I don't believe that you're sitting there. I don't believe a really well-off person is sitting there just saying, "Oh, I'm a millionaire. I can afford this, so I'm just gonna sit and play Game Pass all day." No, they're going to go do millionaire stuff. It's like there's nobody who's really like in this lifestyle where they would do this and spend that type of money. Is like, it's really unrealistic. Anybody else who's going to raise their price, because I actually expect PlayStation Plus to follow suit, they're just going to lose a lot of players. Basically, that's just how it is. I could rant about it anymore. I don't feel like I need to. There's only a couple other things I do want to say. They took away the 10% off in the actual storefront. You used to get 10% off on DLCs. They took that away. That's not a part of
Mm.
Game Pass anymore. You also used to get the rewards where if you was playing on Microsoft's if you was playing on Game Pass or under the ecosystem and using Microsoft products like Bing, for example, you will earn rewards over time enough that it can actually help you pay for Game Pass. They took that away completely. You can't use rewards on Game Pass anymore. So it sounds like they're just desperate for money. They decided to change it to where it's like you could play and earn like up to $50 in rewards for one of the tiers. And I think another tier is like up to $100 in rewards or something like that. Um, Honestly, don't think people care. What are your thoughts, real quick, before we move on? What are your thoughts on a tier where it's supposed to be free, a streaming tier where they have ads in your games?
Ads have no business being in games, right? Like it's so the ads are super annoying. I thought originally the point of streaming was that it wasn't like if we go back for TV stuff, it wasn't cable. So you didn't have to deal with ads. Like the networks
Mm-hmm.
have ads because that's just a part of what TV is. That's how they get their revenue. Um and everything. And the whole point of streaming was like no ads, and now everyone's going, well, here's a tier. Like the original price you were paying was now going to be ad supported, and if you don't want ads, pay us more, and we're going to spend all of our time trying to fight ad blocking uh protocol and like ad blocking stuff instead of just letting you go with no ads. And it's again that greed. Like none of them are sorry, it's not like the people investing or the people in charge are losing out on millions of dollars every year trying to give us things because they don't want to put ads in it, and they're just losing all of this money. They're making money, they just want more money. And putting ads in video games is a very dumb thing to do. Like, can you imagine the moment that messes up and you're mid match? Or I've been on streaming star Hulu is famous for this because I have the tier that has ads in it because I wasn't about to pay more. And there are times, and it'll frustrate me to no end. There are times where I'm watching a show and then it'll cut to an ad, and then the ad will play just fine, but then it has trouble reloading back into the show, and then it cuts off. And I have to refresh everything. And when I refresh it, it starts back over with the 90 seconds of ads. Or if like it cuts into the episode and I want to rewind because I thought something was really funny and I want to see it again, but it rewinds like right before an ad would go off. It'll play the ad, rewind to the part I want, and then replay the 90 seconds of ads. Can you imagine in a video game if it glitches and you have to wait for another match and it plays the 90-second ad, messes up, and then replays another unskippable 90-second ad before you can continue playing?
You know
Like,
what's
that is so dumb.
because the thing that's crazy about it, because I already know what's gonna happen, it's gonna lower your frame rate, or it's
Yep,
gonna try to load an ad and it can't load it, so it's gonna crash it. By the time you
yep,
restart it, it's gonna load the ad again, and then you're gonna have stuttering and just like frame drops, frame skipping because
yep.
of
Oh,
the ad.
and there are times where, like, because it has an issue loading in, the footage will play at like either 480p or
Hmm.
720p. It just dropped from my 1440 or higher to that, but the ad plays just fine in 4K. That part works just fine. It's every like it'll play the ad and then get stuck on the buffering screen for the actual series, and it's like, but why did the ad work? And Hulu and YouTube, I've noticed, have done this a lot too for their ads. They now also play sometimes at inconvenient times. I have times with Hulu where it's messing up, so it doesn't play the ad where it would naturally go, like for a show that's on television, where you would like, it does that like joke. There's a laugh, there's a pause, the ad comes on, and then when it comes back, it'll pick up the next scene. And sometimes I get ads where it's like mid sentence and it'll mess everything up just because it decided to cut to an ad. And that happens a lot for me on YouTube, where it'll just cut to an ad. One of the shows that we're about to talk about, I was getting annoyed because it would play 2 games and then show an ad, every single like time, and it was just like, bruh, like this is especially because if I'm watching the games at like double speed, but the ad just has to play at normal. There's also for Netflix when you have the ads, what's really annoying because if you click on another screen, the whole video pauses. If you're watching something, you can click on whatever screens you want, but if an ad is playing, you have to be on that tab in order for the ad to continue playing. So, like, if you pull up some other menu or something like that in the game, what's going to happen? Or you accidentally hit a button on your controller, is it just going to pause the ad and everything? Or if it somehow eventually starts sensing you got up? Like, that's what they're trying to force ads in places that don't need to be there. I'm playing the game for a reason to play. Like, we complain about loading screens. Like, that's been a whole thing that they've been trying to get rid of loading screens. Now I'm going to have to wait for it. They're going to replace loading screens with ads now. And I know it's ridiculous. It's stupid.
Yeah, I want to mention some more on it, but just real quick, because the game is on the screen. Eastern Exorcist. You want to just tell us your impressions on this Eastern Exorcist?
Oh yeah. So this is one of the free games from Epic. It was okay. I think for a free game, it's fine. It's a side scroller. But I feel like, and unfortunately, the issue is again playing this when you play the Art of Shinobi, or Shinobi Art of Vengeance demo.
It's the
It
2B
makes
version.
this, yeah, basically that's the perfect way to put
It's
it.
the 2B
And
version. Yeah.
it's the 2B version, and it makes it feel sluggish. I feel like this game is a little more sluggish.
It does
Some
look a
of the
little bit like
dodging
it.
gets annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the dodging gets annoying where you're trying to like time your dodge, but it actually wants you to dodge like a second before you would normally feel natural instinct to dodge, otherwise the move still hits. Which got annoying. But other than that, it was standard gameplay, a relatively interesting story. You're a samurai hunting down demons. Yeah, it was okay. It was okay. It was pretty good. Like again, maybe like at most like $10 like to pay for it if you're looking for another side scroller. I think it's okay. I wouldn't suggest playing it right after any sort of Shinobi, because the differences is very noticeable. But other than that, it's a pretty decent game.
It has a Rogue Ally written all over it for me.
Yeah.
If I was to play it, I would play it there. Definitely a handheld or something. I don't know if I really need to capture footage of this or blow it up, but on a big screen. But yeah, free was free. Hopefully the people got this last week. I will check it out later because I like how it looks a little bit. But yeah, there are definitely some better ones. And there's endless amount of them at this point. When we're talking side scroller hacker slashes, there's endless.
Oh,
So I wouldn't be surprised if next month or something Epic gives out another one. I want to say one thing though, a couple more things about the Xbox situation before we can just move on. I think what it is and it's not just Xbox, because I gotta name a few heads: Jim Ryan, Bobby Kotick, Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, Sarah Bond, Herman Hulse. A lot of these names are people who are already up there in age, 50-ish, possibly very close to 60 for some of them. They're in a very high position, so they want to retire early. I honestly think that with the Xbox brand and stuff like that, with what they were doing, everything needed to be more long-term plays, but everybody who's in control wants their money right now. And they're not willing to wait 10 years. They're not willing to wait 15 years, 20 years, because they're not even going to be there at that time. You know what I'm saying? Some of them was already older. It's like a lot of these people are not built like how Vince McMahon was. Vince McMahon is desperately trying to get back into wrestling, right? I think when people get out of video gaming at that level, They just want to leave with their money. They don't want to just come back and continue to be a part of that. That's why you keep hearing about all of these early retirements and stuff, even though I honestly think they all got fired, including Doug Bowser on Nintendo, because I think he said I think with him, it's Nintendo's reputation right now with the game key cards, him saying go buy the Switch 1 if you can't afford the Switch 2, little stuff like that, them attempting to do the $80 games, and then that ruined their reputation for a second. And now the Switch 2 is just kind of sitting on the shelf in a lot of stores instead of being like a hot product. I think that's a reason why we heard he's, retiring early, basically. And I think we're going to hear about a couple names at Xbox retiring early next month or something, because that's how they do it, right? All of a sudden, you're retiring early. It's like, you're not retiring early. Somebody fired you. Let's be honest. They fired you. I don't believe. Look, have you noticed that all of them retiring early?
Yeah.
After something bad happened, all of them.
Retire early is code for I was about to get fired, but I left on my own dignity.
Yeah, I could believe
Barely
one.
any dignity, not even dignity. It's I was about to get fired, but they said we don't want to use that word. Like that's really what it is.
Yeah,
We
they
don't
trying to
wanna use
do
the
PR
word
stuff
fire.
because everybody knows it's like if they fire him, then they have to admit that their plans was like wrong to basically or whatever. But if we tell somebody that they retire early, it's like, oh, he just really wanted to retire early. It's like, okay, but everybody, because when Halo went down, or when Halo's reputation went down and the player base left, they did that with the one chick, I forgot, I think her name was Bobby. All of a sudden she had a family emergency. Like, you stepped down for a family emergency, okay. And then Jim Ryan's, he couldn't stop the Activision deal, so he retired early. It's like the timings of all of this don't make sense to me. It's like, okay, these are a lot of coincidences. You know what I mean? So no, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it's Phil Spencer next, or Matt Booty, or Sarah Bond. And Sarah Bond already has a second job. I think they announced that she's a part of either Tyson Chicken or something. I was like, what?
Oh.
So she already has her exit plan already in place. So it's like, okay, well, a lot of these people, we could tell you, they don't believe in the brand themselves. You know what I mean? So it's like, all right, well, we're going to see more people retire early. And that's just what it is. All they had to do was stick to a plan of just coming out with their games and, just saying, hey, this is the Xbox brand. But they sat there and was like, oh, everybody's an Xbox brand. And you can play the game all over the place. You don't have to go into Game Pass. But if you do, we're going to double the price on you. It's like, well, you just screwed it up.
You kind of said it earlier, but I think the big issue is they're upping the price to give the people things that they didn't ask for and that they don't want. Right? It's like, we got to up the price so y'all can play Xbox anywhere and get these Fortnite skins. And it's like, but I didn't want to play Xbox everywhere. I wanted to play it on like this one thing, and I don't need the Fortnite skins. And it's like, but that's what you're paying for. Right? Like, and I've noticed that, again, a lot of streaming services I've noticed do that. I'll call out HBO Max when they first went to just Max. They said they had to up the price because they were combining it with Discovery, even though they already had a Discovery app on its own. And all the HBO people was like, I don't want Discovery. I just wanted the HBO stuff. Right? Like, it's always that weird, like, we got to up the price so you can have this thing that you didn't even ask for and that you're not even interested in. It would be different if it was interested in it, but you don't even want it. And it's like, do I have an option to not have it and not go up in price? It's like, no.
Yeah, I'll say this one thing and then I'll move on. They're never going to make the money quickly that they thought they were going to make. The industry in general, they keep trying to go after the money that they couldn't have made like either the last generation or generation before, and they think they're going to make money short term. They're never going to make money short term. In gaming, they have to be in the long term play. And it's not, oh, it took us 7 years to make a game and then we just come out with the game and then boom. It's like, no, the game itself needs to last 7 years. Sometimes people just don't even know it exists yet. You know what I mean? It's just like even with like it's no secret I like to collect the Power Ranger Megazords and stuff like that. If you don't put these things in the stores, if you don't put them out there in front of everybody, it's going to take a long time for people to even know that it's there. You know what I mean? They're not even going to know. And by the time they figure out that, oh, this thing exists, now it's sold out, basically, because you just didn't, give enough time for it to actually develop and put more money and put more, mass produce this thing. And then with Xbox, I don't understand what they're doing with their brand. I keep hearing all these type of news things, like something like Costco, for example, don't even got an Xbox section in their gaming area no more. Every time somebody comes out with some like obscure game or some sort of RPG, they only print out a Nintendo and a PlayStation version. They don't even do the Xbox version. And it's like they don't even, like damage control their brand. They just allow everybody else to just not even care. And it's like, dude, like like you're not gonna make the money if you treat your brand like that. You're just not. And then at the same time, if you let everybody else treat their brand like that, I mean, it is what it is. Funny enough, because I actually had this wrote down. I was going to give them praise for a second because the Xbox Play Anywhere campaign allows you to buy the game one time and play it on another platform. But you still need to have Game Pass, basically, I think. One of the examples of this was Hogwarts. I think they mentioned was one of the games. If you bought Hogwarts Legacy on Xbox, you would get a free PC version, basically, because of like Play Anywhere or whatever. And it was like anything that had the Play Anywhere, if you bought it on one, you get the other one. I think that's what the thing is, but you just needed to have Game Pass, if I'm not mistaken. I'll get more information on that because I still thought that sounded good in theory, but if you're still, it's not free then if you really need to have Game Pass on the back end. I don't really know, but yeah, that was it's just a bad taste in your mouth, you know what I mean? Yeah, well, I don't know what else to say. Anything else you want to say on them?
No. I mean, you said it all.
It's their fault. It's their fault that they're in there. I'm just mad at it. I'm mad at it because it's like I was so ready to just be bought in. I was about to just hand them $20 just for the sake of, even though I had codes. We're gonna move on. GameStop was trying to say like, hey, we'll still sell our codes for $20. Don't really fall for that. They had to print them out, and it has $20 on the actual thing itself. They can't sell it for $30. Once they run out, obviously they're gonna have it for $30. So, I mean, if you really want to run out there and do that, by all means. I don't feel like I will do that. $16.50 for the PC side is still within range for me if they're still going to have day and date titles, but I don't think I want to have this ongoing. If anything, I would do it every now and then when they have their best titles, and I would play like two of their games at once in the same month for like $8-ish each and be done with it. I'm not giving them ongoing money. I'm not. No way. Not if that's how they're going to act. So that's their fault. They was going to get it from me. But no, they're not going to get it from me. And what's funny is I almost considered upgrading the Rogue Ally, even though it would have been for no reason whatsoever. I wasn't going to do it immediately. I was just thinking about it. They kind of killed that for me. I don't even want to think about it no more. It's like I'm perfectly fine with the one I got. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even care to get the software no more. I was just like, I could just do it with Steam. You know? But yeah, we can move forward. Let me mention the free game stuff first, and then I'll talk about Doom. But yeah, Epic Games is usually where we talk about, the free games and also sales for the week. I believe right now a couple free games. Let me make sure I have it up in front of my face before I just start. Every time I look at this, I think Flintstones, but it's actually Firestone Online Idle RPG. Do you know anything about this at all?
About which game? Say it again.
Firestone Online Idle RPG.
Oh,
It's one of the free
not
ones.
at all.
Yeah, so that was one of the games that they had. That's available right now until October 9th. And the other one is Nightingale. I don't know nothing about that one either, but that's available right now until October 9th. The next one, I should have waited before I bought it because I actually bought it not too long ago. Gravity Circuit. Gravity
Yeah.
Circuit looks like one of those like it could be like Power Ranger ish game in like 16-bit form. Very fun, very fast paced. You can switch between a whole bunch of like Mega Man looking creatures and stuff. Hot looking title that's going to be available from October 9th to October 16th. I definitely recommend grabbing that. I already had it though. Rogue Journeyman bundle. I don't know too much about that either. That also will be available from October 9th to October 16th. All under Epic Games. And remember, you don't need to have a PC yet. You just need to create a profile, log into it, you can claim it, and then once you get a PC, a handheld, a laptop, a Xbox, basically, you can play the game that you've collected. And what else I want to say? Any games that is something you want to highlight coming from Amazon Prime, maybe?
Yeah, so the 14 games that are coming out for October, a couple of them are available now, specifically two of them. So the two that are available now, Dragon Strike through GOG, and Tormented Souls, which is directly through Amazon. But
Mm-hmm.
then also coming out this month, a big one, XCOM 2, uh, is going to be given away, and Vampire the Masquerade Reckoning of New York. So it seems like I think it's one of the, I guess, DLCs or like side stories, like a Miles Morales sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
For Vampire the Masquerade, which the 2 is coming out soon. Empty Shell, Fallout New Vegas Ultimate Edition. True Fear, Forsaken Souls Part 1 and 2. Hellslave, Lost and Found Agencies Collector Edition, Fallout 3 Game of the Year Edition, You
Okay.
Will Die Here Tonight, Werewolf the Apocalypse Heart of the Forest. So another side story one. And Halloween Stories Horror Movie Collector's Edition will be out on October 30th.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so
Bunch of
even though some
stuff.
of them are older, the two Fallouts and XCOM 2 are probably the biggest ones. I want to say XCOM 2 is one of the bigger games that they've given away for free. I already have it through Steam, unfortunately. It was one of the first games I bought on Steam. Didn't get around to playing it yet, but I was going to mod the mess out of that game because there's so many Power Ranger mods for it. So many. But, yeah, I'll be getting to that eventually. But this is a cool game.
Um, what they wanted to say about Epic Games, it's not necessarily the same type of deal as Game Pass or something, but the thing about it is free, and every now and then they will throw something in there that if you claim it right away, and add it to your actual, library, these are your games. And then not only that, it has enough there when you go back and look at everything that you claim that is right up there in volume with something like Game Pass. And they're not always just giving you junk. Like I remember, I mean, depending on how you look at it, they had Callisto Protocol in there at one point. Death Stranding was in there at one point. If I'm not mistaken, the brand new Dragon Age was in there. Gravity Circuit is one of them that I just said I liked. Is at all levels you could just see certain types of games, and then we got that full Christmas lineup where they do like 16 or 17 in a row. And it's like, this is the service to really be in, to be honest with you. Because once you claim it and you go back and you look, you got all these different things, and then you can still play it anywhere, just like how Xbox is saying, because I could hop on the PC, I could hop on a handheld and play these games that way. And I'm sure I could also do it with the headset, but I'm probably am going to need a cable for it, or I could stream it from PC to the headset. I know that's available. So I still have the ability to do that with Epic Games, and I don't have to worry about, you know, paying $30 a month, basically. You know what I mean? Epic Games, they owe us some money at this point. I do want to include this in here. Skyrim Grandma, why you? Is this news? Skyrim Grandma, what's going on with her?
Of course it is.
How is this news?
So, if you remember, because she's a streamer who's actually even more popular than us right now, so don't disrespect Skyrim Grandma.
Skyrim Grandma is wasting our time, though. Either you playing the game or you not. What we doing?
You so rude. So anyways, remember Skyrim Grandma was playing,
okay,
and then she said she was going to retire, and then they dropped Oblivion, so she hopped back in. And after playing through some Oblivion at the age of like 91, she's going to be retiring again. She said, no, it's crazy. Her big issue for the retiring, too, she said that one of the things that she mainly kept playing for was like interacting with people in the comment section of stuff. Like people talking about stuff and she could talk back and forth. But now lately, like a lot of the comments she gets is just like, you know, like cool or like GG's or something like that. Things that she can't really reply to. So now she found it kind of boring again. So Skyrim Grandma is officially retiring again at the age of 91.
That's cap.
You think she gonna come back?
Elder Scrolls 6 is coming out at some point.
Is she gonna be here for it?
Is she gonna sit? Oh, okay. Yeah.
He's 91. Okay. It ain't coming out next year.
Okay. All right. He's canceled, not me. I'm just saying she wasting everybody's time. I'm just saying. So like that's like me saying I'm never gonna play a certain game anymore and I own it and I just like literally just turn it on one day. Like okay. Okay. I guess. And then the other part was like some prego chick who
yeah, now formerly Prego. So
Prego.
In Florida there was a Mortal Kombat tournament and a lady who had given birth 5 days earlier won the tournament.
This cap too because they let her win.
They didn't.
They let her win. Why would they just beat
everybody
on her?
said that. Well, no, everybody said that like the competition was washed. Like they was kind of scrubbed out here. Plus, first place prize was $28, and I think
$28.
Somewhere. So it wasn't like a super tournament. It was more of just like I guess more of like a neighborhood sort of tournament. But she was holding the baby and went through, progressed through the tournament, beat her husband, and got the $28 prize. So shout out to her.
That reminds me of what's that TV show called Funniest Home Video where they literally just give it to the infant. It's like now, that's exactly what they did.
I would also like to point out though, it wasn't just random Florida woman. It was Florida woman known as Legion with like a zero. So I think she's the actual gamer. I'm pretty sure she's a full-on gamer that she went on and won.
They still let her win.
The fact that she's identified by a gamer tag kind of lets you know, like, she isn't just extra random. But, yeah, she won. Everybody kept saying it was cheating because it was 2-on-1 in every fight. And they kept saying the baby was holding the block button.
You know, the Xbox GamePass situation made me sit back and say, I really need to take my time and make sure I beat every game one by one. And I actually had turned on Digimon Cyber Sleuth because I was looking at a lot of Digimon story Time
Stranger?
Yeah, I was looking at a lot of information on that. And I heard a lot of people were really, really liking it. And I turned it on and I was like, you know, I need to just finish this. It's not, I'm like way into it already. I'm gonna finish that, play the other ones, and catch right up. But it's okay. I just want to say that to mention it's okay to play other games to lead up to that game. Because also Ghost of Yotei is a big topic right now, and I haven't played Ghost of Tsushima. Believe it or not, I have not played Red Dead Redemption 2. I haven't played Cyberpunk yet. I have these games, and it's like I should just play through some of these titles because these are still heavy hitters. I didn't play through Hogwarts yet. I didn't play half of the Souls games that are from Software. I still want to play those. I do want to play the first Berserker. I do want to play the Naked Chick Souls game I can't think of the name of yet. And then Liza P, right? It's like just play these titles. You know what I mean? I don't need to be in a service just handing over money like that if I'm not even finishing the other games that I already own.
Yeah.
Days Gone is a game that I bought in 2019 and I have not touched it. Since then, they gave it away to me for free on Epic, if I'm not mistaken. And then I had the PS5 version through PS Plus, if I'm not mistaken. It was like I sat there with that game for a long time and just didn't even touch it. You know what I'm saying? I have Resident Evil 8, and I have the 4 remake, and I was like, I didn't even play 4 yet, and I want to play that this month. You know what I mean? The original 4, and then move on to some of those other ones. And then Callisto Protocol was another one I wanted to play. It's like I have these titles and just sitting on them. I got the old Doom, or yeah, all the Dooms, but the old not Doom. What is that game called? Um, what was Callisto Protocol? The developers.
Oh, Dead Space.
Dead Space. I got the old ones and the remake, and I ain't played none of them. It's like all these games, when you really put them all out there on paper, it's like you're talking 30, 40, 50 titles maybe. It's like I should just go ahead and play them, and God forbid if we add on the emulation, right? So it's like I don't have a shortage. So, yeah, I'm gonna just play whatever I want to play the most next. Which in November I want to play the Wolverine game that was on PS3, and probably Infamous 2, and you know, cause I still got the old systems as well and stuff like that. So yeah, I just wanted to mention all that with this, but shout out to Digimon Story, Time Strangers, shout out to Ghost of Yote, and then Final Fantasy, the Evil East Chronicles. I think these are some of the hotter titles right now because there are like newer releases and everything. And I just wanted to mention them because those are. I'm going to play all 3 at some point. It's just not right away. But yeah, any other mention of sales or any regular little news or anything?
Nope.
Okay, I'm looking at my paper. Apparently, I think it's still rumors, but also they're saying PlayStation is supposed to be working on the PlayStation controller, where at some point it's supposed to also have a removable battery in it. I know like on Xbox you can buy a battery pack that you can remove and charge and everything, and I think that's what they're trying to do, if that's the case. So look out for that if you really want to have that. I actually feel like I have enough PlayStation controllers at this point. I did get the 30th edition gray controller. I was one of the lucky ones, I guess, to snag one of those. And then I have like, you know, your regular controller, the black one, the light blue one, you know, so I feel like I'm cool on that. But yeah, I wanted to just mention that. Shout out to Silent Hill F for another quick news. They did 1 million in sales in the first week. And I think they actually outpaced the other Silent Hill 2, the remake. So shout out to them. You know, some of these other games can't do 1 million in the first week. You know, they gotta take like 3, 4, 5 months to do 1 million. Anyways, but Silent Hill was able to do it in a week. So I just wanted to just give them a shout out. I think this might warrant its own like timestamp, even though I think this is still quick news. I feel like we should give it a couple minutes because it might get political, but let's give it a couple minutes. Your thoughts on EA being basically purchased by Saudi Arabia, basically for 55 million.
Oh. All right, should I come at it from the positive or from the negative
I
side?
mean, well, what's positive about that? What's positive?
Well, there ain't much positive. I hope that maybe under different leadership they actually put in effort. That's about the best I could give and not reuse old assets. That's probably the most positive. Other than that, a lot of negatives. Trying not to get too political, but I don't really well, I don't fully support the like looking good on the outside politics of kind of what Saudi Arabia is kind of doing. Um but even if we move past that, I heard that they're picking up the debt as well, right? That's part of the sell that they did is that basically they buy it and then they also have to cover the debt that again apparently EA was in. So if they're in debt, that means for the next couple years, everything's going to be made in a way to try and recuperate that money, which that makes me think more expensive games and like really having in high like jumping into that live service element. They usually EA got their money from all of the predatory live service stuff from Madden, and not so much from your like story driven-ish like single player games or anything like they would get money from Mass Effect, but like you can't keep like getting money out of Mass Effect in the same way you can do for Madden. And I feel like they're not going to focus so much on immediate sales. They're going to focus a lot more on uh what can keep generating money. So I imagine they're going to try and continue doing the Madden stuff and stick to the formula. They're not going to reinvent the wheel because they don't want to spend more money. But then they're also like, I feel there was a Mass Effect in development. I don't think that's going to happen anymore because, again, it's another location, right? So they have their own rules and things like that. But I think a lot of their rules of society will directly conflict with a lot of the things that may pop up in like a Mass Effect sort of game, right? So some of the relationship angle, the alphabet or otherwise, just overall the relationship angle or um some of the like messaging that pops up in some of these games, some of the ideas of fighting the government or fighting the power in like these games. I don't think that's gonna fly as much for a place that like could
I
directly
saw I saw a bunch of memes where they were saying like basically the woke stuff is over. Like they
yeah,
just not gonna have no more of that or something like
but
that. I did see that.
I think it's gonna go deeper than that. It's not just gonna be the things you consider woke. Again, I think it's gonna be a lot of things. Like I said, like Saudi Arabia is kind of a place where you can get in trouble for trying to speak out against like those in power.
Hmm.
So there goes any game with that sort of message for going against it. Like think about how many games sometimes don't release in that area solely because of the politics around it, right? Or things that are in the game that the developer wants to use, whether you agree with or not. With the type of a lot of things considered woke or otherwise. The type of enemy that's in a game or just things of that nature that's just gonna be gone. So I think the safest bet is probably sports games, because there's not much politics around the different sports game stuff. I don't know how any of the other stuff's gonna go. So I'm not the biggest fan of this. We'll see. Again, I just think the next few years are gonna be extra messy because of the wanting to recuperate money. And I feel bad for some of the games that are in development that's probably now just gonna be no because they don't want to put the money in to continue developing it. So I think a lot of stuff is about to just randomly get canceled.
I'm waiting for two things to happen. It's gonna be
Okay.
hilarious. The first one is they just put a random Saudi Arabia team in Madden and give them like crazy stats.
That's gonna be great. Overall 99. They're
I'm
just
telling
better.
you, that's what's just gonna happen. And the second one, which is gonna rattle some feathers, I'm waiting for the announcement that they just straight up buy WWE. I'm just waiting for it because I feel like that's gonna
It
happen.
feels like it's on the way. It honestly feels like it's on their way. They're gonna just buy it from TKO or buy TKO in general.
That's so crazy.
It's yeah, and it's just some of those again, I always try to fight like certain feelings. Like for example, because of the own politics, the what I can control. I don't really watch the Saudi Arabia WWE shows.
Hmm.
And part of that too is because I feel like they're glorified house shows, even though they're starting to do more and more over there. I just
Bro, it's
don't
about to be a
like.
glorified WrestleMania one too, ain't it? Ain't
Yeah.
that what they say?
Yep. Yep. So it's just there's that, and I don't watch them. But at the same time, where I can, it's not like I don't feel like they should go over there
Hmm.
to a degree, solely because I feel like the average everyday person that lives over there didn't do anything, and now they get to like enjoy wrestling. Like I would hate if I had to like miss out on so many things solely because of the political people in charge, right here in the U.S. If it was all these like outside studios were like, you know what, we don't like what's going on there, so we're no longer releasing games in the U.S. And it's like I didn't even do nothing, right? Like I'm just living my
Hmm.
everyday life. Let me play the game. So I feel like that's the average thing over there too, where it's known that some governments probably did some really bad stuff, but the average everyday person didn't. So why should they have to suffer? So I do like that it's like they get a WWE show too, and who knows, maybe the games will come up. Like maybe they will put an effort that we're not seeing. It's not like EA was putting an effort for like a lot of stuff. I'm curious to see how predatory the making money back gets. Like, are they
That's the
going to
part
really
that's
be
so
focused on
cringe.
making
Is
money
like,
back,
ain't nobody tell
or
y'all to come in here and do that.
right?
That's the part that's so annoying. Is like everyone who's trying to make money in the industry is like, please go away. Like you're really
Yep.
not, because you ain't gonna make it. They sat there and wasted their time and went there with the whole like NFT thing, metaverse thing. They really thought they was gonna cash out on that Marvel Avengers game and stuff like that. It's like, yo, people ain't about to do that. They're just not going to just hand you money because you said that you have some product that's not even a real product. The whole bored ape thing and stuff, like why was people gonna spend money on that? They weren't gonna spend money
Mm-hmm.
on that. It was pictures, right? And so like they have that same energy with some of this stuff, and it's like we just want to play the game and spend the same money we spent before. Like I don't understand. I really don't understand in general why they're trying to make it seem like gaming is a luxury thing. It was never a luxury thing for me. I always feel like gaming is just, oh, I just grab a game no different the way I grab a box of pizza or something. It's like my game was $20 and my pizza was $20 and I
Mm-hmm.
played it over a weekend or something. It's like I don't even think of it like I don't sit there and I should not have to do a light bill or something for this or whatever. I was thinking about the Xbox Ally X, and like normally I don't care about certain prices anymore, but when the Game Pass thing happened, it made me look at them sideways, because I was
Yeah.
just like, I remember being a kid going to a place like Art Van or Gardner White with my mom, and they would have a whole living room set where like the couch has like a corner where it's going around or whatever. You can get that. You can get a thing called a love seat. The other couch has a sofa bed, and then you might can get a table and stuff with it. And then the price might be $1,000 or close to $1,000. And it's like, well, you used to be able to get a whole living room set for $1,000. Now they're
Yep.
trying to tell you to go get a handheld for $1,000. It's like, yo, what world are we living in? You could like literally like fill out an entire room with $1,000, get a bed and a box spring and
Used to.
all of that. Like what am I buying a handheld for 1,000 for? And it's funny because I could do it, but it's just like I just started thinking about it for a second. It's like, why are they sitting here thinking that this is what it's supposed to be? I felt that same way about the Megazord community. The best Megazords was like $40 back in the day. $40 each, and it came out like once a season or something, and now you can barely get it, and they keep trying to sell the exact same ones for like over 100 and something, and it's never available. It's just like, well, you're just wasting everybody's time, and I think the industry in general is wasting everybody's time when they're doing this, 'cause it's just really ridiculous. But yeah, a whole living room set for the same price. Isn't that crazy? Sofa bed and everything.
Hmm.
You can just live in the living room. Sofa bed, love seat, table, probably even a TV and a TV stand for 1,000 or something. Now the L- uh, L- Lenovo Go 2 or is like 1,300. And then you still gotta pay for services and stuff just to enjoy it. It just seemed ridiculous to me, honestly. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that real quick before this footage is over. Doom: The Dark Ages. This is footage coming from Game Pass. Is going to be one of the last games that I play on there for at least this go around before I maybe use another code. It's fun. It's fun. I don't have any gripes about it really. I think it does have accessibility features in the settings or whatever. This was played at 1440p on PC with like my 4090 graphics card, all the bells and whistles and stuff. Fun game. I think it's 22 chapters. Each chapter takes about an hour, less if you know what you're doing and stuff. But I'm more new to Doom and everything, so I think this is chapter 3 if I'm not mistaken. This footage, but I am gonna beat this whole game before my Game Pass runs out, which I believe is October 23rd. But yeah, I absolutely recommend this. Doom is fun. After I play this, I'm obviously gonna go back and play the other Dooms. I actually own the other Dooms. I don't own this one. But is it a Game Pass seller? Maybe at $15 or $20, but at 30, no, because after 2 months you could just go buy it, right?
Hmm.
On Steam right now, I believe this is $45. I wouldn't be surprised if you could find it for that same deal anywhere else. You definitely gonna find it in November Black Friday time for around that price. I wouldn't be surprised if it actually drops to 30. And it's just funny when you think about that. It's like, well, I can just buy the game, right? But yeah, fun title, and it just went off the screen. But yeah, Doom: The Dark Ages, definitely go check that out. Um, all right, you ready to get into some of these gaming shows, and then we can get
Oh
up out of
boy.
here
Yeah.
and go play some Diablo. Funny enough. All right, the first one I actually wanted to get into was the PC gaming show that was subtitled Tokyo Direct. I think it was still a part of that Tokyo Game Show lineup, but it was one of the
Hmm.
last shows that had came out. That one was about an hour and 17 minutes. It was hosted by Ellie Woods. I've seen her before, but I think she went away for a year or so and hosted other stuff and then came back. But yeah,
She has a great voice for like hosting.
she has a great
She has
voice.
a
You think
very
so?
relaxing like voice. Yeah.
They've had her before. I just can't think of what the show was. I remember her from I think like 2 years ago. I think
Okay.
she's hosted the gaming stuff before. But yeah, PC gaming show, an hour and 17 minutes. I grabbed a couple things in
I
here.
got a good chunk actually.
You got a good
Um.
chunk. Go ahead and save
Yeah.
one of
Oh, I'll
yours.
also point out the other guy that was there, the British black guy who was
Hmm.
talking. When you watch it at 2 speed, and when he first started talking, it sounded like he was trying to like mimic an Asian voice. Like I don't know why it just when it cut to him, it just sounded that way, and then he's like in Tokyo, and I was just like, "Yo, is this allowed?" And then like when I slowed it down, I realized no, it's just a normal British voice. But
Mm,
one of the first games that got my attention, honestly, it was like Earth Must Die. It seems like it's a very comedic game, but they didn't
hmm.
really show any gameplay, so I'm not quite sure how the game plays outside of cinematic stuff. Um, but that was one where it's supposed to be like some villain trying to regain your throne.
Okay.
The next one I had was Minos. It was like basically a minotaur's like lair, like a maze. puzzle, and you have like a whole squad, and you're trying to go through traps and keep the whole squad alive. Um, while like moving them around. So I thought that seemed interesting, a nice, cool puzzle game.
Okay.
Uh, the Oasis, spelled Awaysis. Using like a cool like run around hack and slash. One of my issues with this show, and the other show we'll talk about, I think they did much better. I wish when the trailer started, they put up a little name card that like showed the name of the game, because sometimes with their artwork, I couldn't tell what the name was, and this was one of them that I like
Yeah.
paused on the screen and kept staring at it for. And again, it's not a normal word, Oasis. It's spelled completely differently, so I'm staring at it, going like, "What is this called?" Like it's like I don't know the name of this thing. I can't understand like their artwork in the writing, so I kind of wish you would say the name. Um, I thought it was interesting that they're redoing Yakuza 3. Um, and it makes me wonder now, are they, because I was planning on trying to get into the Yakuza series, are they going to redo the other ones too? Because I thought it was weird that they just kind of jumped straight to 3. So now it's like, well, do I want to buy the other ones, or do I just wait until all of them are remade? Um, Tanuki Pon Summer, that was a game I had mentioned over the summer that I completely forgot about.
Mm-hmm.
There was a game called Gravebound, which just looked like a stiff version of Helldivers. Um, Kaiju Cleanup seems interesting, which is like the monster and you're the cleanup person. Uh, Killing Floor 3, of course. Densha Attack. It was one of your endless runner, I think, games where you're like a train and you have to like, it like platforms all anime style with like moving left, right, and doing tricks and hopping over stuff. So that seemed fun. Doomspire was a cool looking card game. Threads of Time, a time travel RPG where it's like a classic you fantasy character and then a futuristic character and a robot, and you're traveling through time fighting stuff.
So Threads of
Yarn.
Time,
Mhm.
I just want to mention that was one of the ones I put down. That was actually the first one. So if you did everything
Oh
else
wow!
before, yeah,
Everything else was before that. Yeah.
I kind of just skipped over everything else. But yeah, that was one of the
Whew,
first ones that I wrote down was Threads of Time.
that's
Hmm.
crazy. There was so much. That was like towards the end of the show. Dang.
Yeah.
Yarn Owl got mentioned. It was mainly more they just talked to the developers. But it looks like your classic old school hack and slash sort of game. That seemed interesting. And then another game that was way mentioned before that I completely forgot about, but Morbid Metal. Which
I
is like
did. Yeah, I was
what's
gonna
that
say
called? Roguelike?
I already had that wish list, but I did write it down
Mm.
as well. Morbid Metal 3D fast action roguelike
Yeah, where you
hack and
keep
slash
switching
type
who you
game.
are. Like you
Hmm.
switch your whole gameplay style to a whole nother character as you play through. I thought that was cool. But that was everything I had from the show. Some things I liked more than others. Um, some of them I wrote down like I want to see what more of it is, like the Earth Must Die and Kaiju Cleanup. I feel like Kaiju Cleanup will be one that I'll wait till Epic kind of gives it away for free, but it'll be something that I try there. But honestly, the most exciting game out of this whole list for me was actually Threads of Time. That seemed the most interesting. And then that Minos or the Minos puzzle maze game. Those were the two.
Okay. In between there, I think there was a game that they showed called Reach, which was in VR basically. And I think with that they also had Shuhei Yoshida from formerly with PlayStation who was just talking about the game. But that was one of the VR ones that I actually you know was interested in. But that was it really for that show. I only had like three things. I didn't really I don't want to say I didn't care for it. It was just a lot of the stuff just wasn't that interesting. But yeah, I had like three things. So you got a lot of stuff. That's pretty cool. So was this like a really big show for you? Like a highly rated show for you?
I wouldn't say highly rated.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like some interesting stuff that like I'll check out more of. Um, I didn't like again one of the like three of the games on here that were like more exciting for me were things that were on previous shows, right? Like Killing Floor 3,
Yeah.
uh, Morbid Metal, and the Tanuki Pond Summer. But I'd give it like a nice, I would say like a 7. for me personally.
All right, I'd probably say 5, like right in the middle. I ain't really wasn't mad at it. It just wasn't that much stuff for me. Um, but yeah, that was pretty much that show. I think I had around the same amount or a little bit more coming from the horror game awards show. So I think the name of the channel and stuff was Horror Game Awards, and then the showcase was just Halloween Showcase. And that one was like 2 hours and 55 minutes. They had like a little pre-show in there as well.
Yeah, I
Um,
skipped the pre-show, but also I felt like this thing was way too long. Um, I don't know. I just feel like when it comes to like horror games, for me this would have been like a two. It would to me it was the same energy as if it was a 2 hour show of first-person shooters. Where it's like after a
mm,
while, it's like okay, yeah, another game with jump scares, or it's felt kind of weird sometimes, where it's like here's this game that's like you're going through horror like corridors and everything, and then here's this one where you're shooting down zombies, and then here's this one that looks 8-bit, and it was just like, well, I don't care about the 8-bit one. Like I don't know, some of it just felt like too long, in my opinion.
they probably should just realize that you can't just throw that much content at a consumer and like assume that they're going to just consume because they're just not. It's just going to be
Hmm.
too overwhelming. So much stuff is just going to get thrown away. Like if I was somebody who was, really, um, counting on my game to sell, I wouldn't want to put it in a showcase that's this big. I would want to put it in a showcase that's like 40 minutes. It's like, because I need my game to stand out a little bit.
Yeah,
Two and a half
and
hours, your
again, I
game is
think
not going to stand out.
40 minutes of horror games like showing off is way better than 2 hours. In the same way, like I said, like a 40-minute showcase of different first person shooters coming out is going to look a lot better than 40 minutes or than 2 hours of first person shooters. They're just like another shooter. Like, okay. It's like so many times I can see jump scares and trailers. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, I had some of this stuff wish listed before too, and a lot of stuff that I had looked at were basically different versions of the Resident Evil clones, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Tormented Souls 2 was one of the first things that I wrote down. That comes out October 23rd, and it does have a demo associated with it. So if you want to, you can check that out. And then obviously you can check out the first game right now. Um, that's one of the things I wrote down. What did you write down?
I put down the first one I put was Project Z Beyond Borders, another like zombie
Okay.
shooter sort of game.
Okay. And then I had a game that was called Cult of Blood. That one looked like a really intense action adventure game. Just like the other game, though, it does have a demo as well. So definitely check out the title if you're interested. That's one thing I do like about some of these games. They do have demos associated with. I think a lot of them do that I wrote down. But what was the next thing for you?
So this one I'm not sure if I'm interested enough to get, and I want to see more of the gameplay. But it was called By Sweet Carol.
All
It
right.
took like it was like your classic like fairy tale stories, but
Mm-hmm.
made them all really really dark. So it seemed like a horror game that was based around your fairy tale fantasies. Which for me just sounds very story driven. So my type of game, but I got to see what the actual gameplay like really is for it before it's something I would jump into. Because if it's just cinematic and a bunch of scary like Disney singing, then no, I'm good. But like if it's actual something in there, then it might be something I would check out because of the story driven nature of it.
Yeah. The next thing, which I said is one of the low budget RE clones. Contaminant. It was the game. It really does look like a low budget, RE, Resident Evil type game. The next
Okay.
couple of them that I wrote down does too, but that one is one of them that I put down. Um, Let me see.
I
What?
also had a
Yeah,
Resident Evil clone. Mine was called Liminal Point,
yeah. That's
where
the next one I
basically,
have
yeah, it
here.
was straight up Claire Redfield. Like it was just straight up Claire Redfield.
Hmm.
Uh, Off to go like fight zombies in the like top down, not top down, but like the over the shoulder like camera. I don't know
Hmm.
what that camera style is called. The Resident Evil classic camera. Like,
Yeah, yeah. They like the actual Resident Evil 1 was very good in my opinion. But this looks just like that type of that type of viewpoint. I actually already had that one wish listed from what I can see that I put in my notes. But yeah, that's one of them that I would have recommended. The next one I actually thought was just more hilarious, but it was called Shark Dentist.
Yeah, I knew you'd like that as soon as
It
I
was
saw it.
just seemed hilarious where you messing with a shark that you would think would be dead, and then if you tick it off a little bit, there was a board game similar to this, right? Wasn't it Hungry Hippo or something? Or you
Something
just
like
mess
that, yeah.
one of them like
For Operation.
yeah, you mess with a teeth and then it clamped down on you or whatever. Like there was another thing that did that at one point. But yeah, this is like they said it's roguelike, and you can request to be a part of the playtest. So if you're really interested, go check that out. Um, yeah, and then what else you got? I got like one more.
I had this one called AILA, like Ayla or something.
Okay.
Um, the premise of it looked like it was a person who puts on a VR helmet, and then you're doing first person stuff in a game, but it seems like the VR is like has like a virus that's like trying to kill you.
Mm, all right. And then the last thing I had was called Rogue Mansion. Definitely a RE1 clone, but it's more first person of Resident Evil. This one also has a demo, and they said there was going to be an update to the demo on October 27th, 2025. So, yeah, more RE clones. If you're a big fan of those old school RE games, every time we have like some sort of indie horror type like thing, everybody is trying to clone one of those games. So there's plenty of those out there already that you can go find. But then like yeah, this show had a lot of them, and I wrote down a lot of them because I really enjoyed that type of gameplay. Tank controls with the top down ish, a little little view and everything. So yeah, I think that's it, man. Is that the
Oh,
show?
I got a few more.
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, so AAU, which was like another first-person shooter, like your special ops person going to
Mm-hmm.
fight like either zombies or monsters or something. Scary Cargo, which is like a comedy game where it's like up to 4 players, I think. Basically picking up equipment and having to like take it somewhere while monsters are like chasing them down. So there was even
Mm.
like a point where they showed the dude almost faced off with a monster and like shot it in the face, and the monster fell and he stopped, and like it was like comedy while they were talking. He's like, okay, it's dead, and then the thing just stood up, and he's like, it's not dead, and he just takes off running. But it was that. Blood Reaver, which it's a first person, like it looks like a shooter game where you use different cards for like power up, so it looks like it's gonna be a roguelike
Okay.
game where like the power ups determine how well you do. And then finally Dark Hours, which seems like the not comedy version of Scary Cargo. So you're like thieves, and you're going through to steal stuff while monsters are like trying to like kill you.
Okay. Okay. How would you rate this show?
I'd personally give this one, for me, it was middle of the ground 5. While I got some good stuff out of it, it still just felt like way too long.
Okay.
Right? Like at most 10 things for like trailers that are about like 40 seconds, you know? And it just felt like a lot of stuff. And I'm sure there might have been some other cool things that I would have just missed from like zoning out. Like I just felt like it
Mm,
was just way too long.
okay. For me, probably a 6. Just right there. It didn't feel long for me because obviously I watched this on more than one screen and kind of split it up.
I did too.
So
Well, I
they.
watched this along with the PC one at the same time, but it just felt like every time I looked, it's like it's still going, and it was just so long. And then when the PC
Hmm.
one was finished, and I was still on that one, and it just also watching at
Yeah.
like 2 speed, like it just felt way too long.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna use this footage next week. This is Oblivion. I'm not gonna return to this on Game Pass. I'm gonna wait until I could buy my own copy. I'm almost certain this will go down into Game Pass price range. This Black Friday, probably lower, because technically this is just a remake of an old game anyway. But yeah, that's it. That's the end of the show. Anything else you want to mention?
Happy Spooky Month. I've been
Happy
I actually
spooky month.
watched the first animated Resident Evil finally.
Okay,
That was pretty good.
I think I seen
It
all
was
of
a good
them.
movie. So I'm gonna be watching like throughout the month.
Once I'm like done speeding through the Game Pass stuff, I am still gonna play Callisto Protocol and Resident Evil 4 on the original
Okay.
Resident Evil 4 on the PS4 version of it at least. Um, and I'm probably not gonna touch. I know. I think I said before I was gonna play Hot Wheels, or I don't know if I said it here. I'm already playing Hot Wheels, but I think I'm gonna stop because I'm gonna like play Forza Motorsport a little bit more. Just get it
Okay.
out of my system. Flight Sim at some point, get it out of my system before I just turn the thing off. Yeah, and that's pretty much it, really. So we'll see if Xbox moonwalks. I actually don't think that they would, but their brand is before it will go down a little bit. I think they're Millennium forcing this bad boy. Like they're really dropping their brand. It's like for me, I don't. The money part wouldn't have mattered for me that much. It's just the reputation is what's really dropping. That's the main thing. Just based on dumb decisions, but we'll see. We'll follow up on that next week. See what's going on. Other than that, like, comment, share, subscribe. I will catch y'all next week. Peace.